Hello, friends, and welcome to our very first kickoff episode of 30 Plays in 30 Days, a live arts retrospective. Thank you for joining us. We are very excited to see how this all goes. I am Jeremy Duncan Pape. I'm the Interim Artistic Director here at Live Arts. And tonight we'll be talking about the very first season at Live Arts, 1990 and 1991. I'll be joined in a little bit by the inestimable Fran Smith, as well as Martin Kyle, Mark McLean, Deandra McDonald, Claire Chandler. Before we get started, we want to just give a quick shout out to one of our community partners. Everybody is having a hard time right now, so we thought we'd use this space to shout out the C&O restaurant, who's been just such an integral part of the fabric of not only Live Arts, but downtown Charlottesville. They're right there on Water Street, and to my understanding, they are still doing takeout food. So if you want something yummy, go to C&O. We'll be joined by Fran Smith, and we'll be talking through a little bit of history here in a minute. Hey, Fran.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good.
It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too.
How are you doing? How are things?
Pretty good. I'm excited to see what we come up with tonight.
No, me too.
Being the first guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, if anybody can be trusted to be a guinea pig.
Yeah.
So just, I am sure all of our audience already knows this, but would you just take a second and tell us who you are and your relationship to Live Arts?
My name is Francine Smith, but it used to be Sackett and now it's Smith. And I was a co-founder of Live Arts and kind of the one who initiated the theater ensemble, the Live Arts Theater Ensemble. There were lots of other organizations that shared the space with us. Mm-hmm. So that kind of was my thing, bringing the theater there.
We're saddling you with founding artistic director. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh no, that's fine. I was for a number of years actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we dug up some archival photos. So we thought we'd just run through some old pictures really quickly.
Sure.
to get the memory flowing.
Yeah.
So the very first play that Live Arts put on was No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. You directed.
Yes, I did. And I just loved it. And I love absurd theater, and this is existential theater, of course. And when we started Live Arts, we wanted to do avant-garde theater, things that normal community theaters wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. And so this is a good one to start with.
Mm-hmm, I'd say.
And I liked it also too because we didn't have much to work with. So it was very basic set, and strong actors and kind of minimal setting was what we were all about in the first 2 or 3 years. It was like, it just took us a while to get 30 years to get where we are now. Mm-hmm. But this past one you just saw was Mary and Dan, and bless both of them. They're both deceased. We've been around long enough to see some of our members pass. And they were great folks. Dan was our leading man for many shows, and he was really crazy but excellent. Mm-hmm. And Mary was great. Yeah. Tally's Folly was done by an outside person. Okay. We used to do that, allow them, if we didn't have something going on, we would allow this, and I don't remember the details. I saw it was great. And then Ro Halpin used to do these fantastic cartoons about our coffee houses. And much of it was written by local people. Particularly this one was Margaret Baldwin, who is a professor at Kenyon College, and a great playwright in her own right, a great actress. And she did a lot of the background for this. Mm-hmm. There's Michael and Bill Davis. Again, Dan, he'd show up whenever. He used to work at the Roasted Bean. Yes, that's Margaret on the right. Mm-hmm. And Jen, and what happened with the coffee houses is the actors were in the audience, and so the audience members didn't really know whether they were actors until they started. So it was one of these things like there you go. There's Margaret. She's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen. Artist Payne. Yes, Artist Payne. That was the real. This guy right here is so cute. You know, he was in Coffee House 2 or 3, and it's one I didn't direct. And I remember Thane and I standing there, who was another co-founder, and watching him sing All Along the Watchtower.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kind of looked at each other and said, we knew this guy was not long for Charlottesville.
He's still singing All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, he is. And nobody does it like Dave.
Mm-hmm.
These are just some other coffee house. See, oh my God.
Hey, we know that.
Yeah, that was a coffee house. And yeah, it was fun. I had to kiss a girl in this particular piece, which I thought was kind of fun because I don't think anyone's ever seen it on the stage in Charlottesville. Mm-hmm. And everybody was fine with it. Mm-hmm. That's Lisa Newman. She directed me in The Maids, and she was also in No Exit, the first play with Dan. And this was fun. It was crazy times, you know. We put this together in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. The writing would get done, and we just hit it. And usually it was 22 to 25 people that were involved in it. Then we started featuring a musician that would kind of be the MC of stuff. But it was really great, fun. This is Margaret and Jeff Schneider, who's been in a number of shows, mm-hmm. and The Wool Gatherer. I directed this, mm-hmm. and this was the one that I remember having to strike the set for Don Cherry, who came in at the end of this play and did a jazz concert, and then we had to re-up the set the next morning. But it's a great play. This was a one-woman show featuring Diane Porter, who calls herself Liz now. Mm-hmm. And she was Emily Dickinson. She really was. She just entered this persona, and she roomed with me for a while, and she would walk out with her long dress in the yard and pretend she was Emily Dickinson. She's great friend, great actor. Oh dear. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's mine.
This looks like maybe the first live arts production that you didn't direct?
Probably.
Yeah. When I saw Dan Scott directed this.
Yes, he did. And yeah, it was a really, I thought it had a lot of impact, you know. It's like, and Ron Heller, who is also deceased, he played Lyman beautifully. And it was a great challenge for me. I loved it.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you for that.
Sure.
So Fran, a little bit about you. What got you into theater, the arts? Why here? Why theater?
Wow. Well, I went to college in New Haven, and I really thought high school theater was really stupid. And so they recruited me right off the top, you know, at freshman orientation. They just grabbed me for some reason, and I said, okay, I'll try it. So I played Dunyashka in Nikolai Gogol's The Marriage, and I had to have an accent, which was totally hard for me. But anyway, that's kind of where I started. And Yale University was right down the street, and they didn't have women at the time. So they would recruit from our school in New Haven College, and ended up doing some shows there, which was very fun, and was like it was just something that I was drawn to. And I was an art major, right? But I'm 6 feet tall. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the roles that I would get to play were old ladies, you know. I mean, all the leading men were like 5'5". And so that was one of the discouraging things about you did a fine job, but so I used my art and made human compositions, and I think that's why I'm really drawn to directing, which I have done. a number of shows.
I would say. So, what are you doing in quarantine to help feed the creative beast?
I draw a little.
Yeah.
I've been drawing a little, actually, surprising people that didn't know I could draw. And working outside a lot. You know, I have a very creative garden. It's circular and involved, and I've been working on that, which is great. I haven't been able to focus enough to read. So finally I picked up D.H. Lawrence, The Rainbow, which is part of a trilogy. And once you get the hang of how he writes, it's really good stuff. So, you know that. So I'm a puzzle once in a while. You know? And, you know, being on Zoom with my family and friends. Yeah.
Nice. So we touched on it a little bit, but let's talk a little bit about No Exit.
Okay.
Since that's where we'll be focusing our energy tonight. Why then? Maybe why now? What's the inner life of that play?
The inner life of that play is hell is other people, basically. These three individuals get brought into this place and they've died, and they all have a preconceived notion about what hell is like, so they think each other are torturers, and they find as it progresses they want to do stupid things like brush their teeth, no sense, or get at the end of the play Inez stabs Estelle about 20 times and she's dead already. So it's very existential, and they all did bad things in their life, and they don't fess up right away. They finally do at the end. But I just love the interplay of this play. Just always drawn to me. It's not long. It gets right to it. And I don't want to give too much away.
Sure.
But we have a wonderful cast. To read a few things from this. Mm-hmm. You know, you can only get a little flavor because this play builds, right? It's a play that starts and it takes a while to warm up and get to where it's going. So in doing this, I think it's a little difficult to imagine, but I think we're going to do it.
Yeah, I think it'll go well.
Yeah.
So last, before we bring our wonderful actors in for the night, what's your favorite live art story, or something maybe you haven't told anybody yet? You have a little story for us? Anything?
Yeah, really quickly. We were doing Confessions of a Nightingale. Doug Schneider was being Tennessee Williams, and in the middle of the show, he lost his place. So he gets up and he excuses himself and says he's got to let the dog out, and he goes to this door, and his ass is up in the air as he's reading the script trying to find where he belongs. I was hysterical. The whole audience was hysterical. You had to be there, but he didn't realize, you know, that his butt was up in the air. So there you go, Doug. Listening.
Nothing like live theater. Thank you, Fran.
Thank you.
So we'll be bringing in our actors now. We'll be reading a short excerpt from No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. First, we have Mark McLean, who will be reading. First, we have Martin Kyle, who will be reading The Valet. Mark McLean, who will be reading Garcin. Deandra McDonald, who will be reading Inez, and Claire Chandler, who will be reading Estelle. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us tonight. So, everybody ready?
Ready.
Okay. These are the guinea pigs, and we are here to entertain you. So, No Exit by Jean-Paul Sartre. And scene. Thank you, friends. Martin, Mark, Deandra, Claire, thank you so much for your time and your talents. Fran, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
That sums it up nicely.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And to our audience, thank you as well for joining us on this kickoff of the festival. If you are so inspired, you can go to our website, or there's a little donate button pinned to the bottom of this screen, and you can help us finance our Forge Ahead campaign as we move towards our 30th season. And if you enjoyed this, there's more tomorrow night. We will be joined by none other than Larry Goldstein and Michael Parent. And you will never forgive yourself if you miss it. So come back tomorrow night, and we will be talking about the second season of Live Arts, 1991 to 1992. Thank you, friends.
Thank you.
Thanks.